Beta, if I look at the future, I can see that the one who masters IT or computers will be ruling the world tomorrow.
What is missing is the life lessons which is going to help them.
That's a very difficult question. Education became a business.
How can someone learn any language?
The world has become so competitive. If there's one vacancy, it's very normal to have hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants for one job. So how are you going to land that particular job? There are two impediments or two hurdles to anybody's success in life today. One is laziness, and the second one, which may even be worse, is something called
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching To Be Honest podcast with your host Junaid Jushuddi, and today we have an exclusive podcast with a very special guest who is an engineer by profession and a health advisor. So today we have Mr. Sameer KM on the podcast, and we are going to discuss about culture, education and parenting, and this podcast will help you grow in this competitive world, and we shall be digging into his mind and understanding how in this competitive world we can grow and what's the secret of his growth and what he have achieved and what are the things he have learned over the time. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
I was born in a small town in Karnataka, India, called Bhatkal. My father has always been an NRI, most probably since my birth. So he came to the UAE very early on, and very soon he brought his family. So as a family, we came to the UAE in 1980. So my basic schooling was in Dubai. And from grade 7 onwards, I shifted to a residential school in South India. And those were my formative years. That school had a lot in terms of building my personality, shaping me in becoming who I am today. And then I completed my engineering also in South India. And then I started my career in Bangalore, one of the leading IT companies of that time, in 1996. And that was the time when IT was actually booming. So I rode the IT wave, basically, you can see. So I spent around 1.5, 2 years of my initial professional experience in Bangalore. And then I moved to the UAE in 98. And since 98, I've been here doing different roles. So that's briefly about me.
So I just want to know, like, how did you find your career path? How did your career journey started?
The school that I went to, the residential school that I went to, had a lot in shaping who I am today. It was a very well-equipped, very modern school, and they had all sorts of opportunities and avenues for you to, first of all, discover yourself and then develop. For example, the school had facilities for sports people. They had world-class sports grounds and equipments. And if you are interested in co-curricular activities, all year round they used to have, competitions, essay competitions, oratorical or speaking competitions, writings, and so on and so forth. I mean, they kept their students fully occupied, and they gave them a chance to discover themselves. And what I discovered was that I was not a sports personality, but I found excellence in co-curricular activities. So during my education there, one of the inherent capabilities that I discovered in me was that I could speak public speaking very well. And during the 6 years of my education in that particular school, it wouldn't be an exaggeration if I told you that I would have participated in maybe close to 100 oratorical competitions or speaking competitions. And because of the the guidance that was given to me by those the teachers there, I used to win most of them, because that was I was not aware of this inherent quality when I was a child in Dubai. Mm-hmm. So that had an impact on my career, which I'll come to eventually. And more importantly, there's a very, very interesting incident in my life. which shaped my path, my career, and it will help your audiences, especially the young people who are watching you and hearing you. They will, learn a lot from it. So in my childhood, everybody used to say, what is your goal? What is your ambition? People used to say either they want to be a doctor or they want to be an engineer. I wanted to do something different. Okay, I said, I will neither be a doctor nor an engineer. And I fondly tell people I forgot to say inshallah. And you know where that led me to, right? So the reason for that was because I wanted to do something different. Plus, I came to know that somebody had said that I wanted to become a chartered accountant initially, right? And somebody had apparently told someone that it's not possible for Samir to be a chartered accountant. Eventually, I found out that he was right, but naturally, I took offense. All right, and I said, no, come what may, I'm going to be a chartered accountant. And then, when the right time came to choose my career, I had made up my mind. I want to become a chartered accountant, and I'm talking about 1992 to be exact, right? But because my father had done a lot to send me to that school. He was very interested in my education. He went out of the way to make sure that, I get the best education. He supported me in every way. So I said, I owe him at least, taking his suggestion. So I called him all the way back from India, and he was in Dubai. And I told him, okay, father, what would you like? What would you think I should do in my life? What profession or what career should I pursue? He said, it's okay. I mean, he was at that time, he was a very broad-minded person. He said, do whatever you feel passionate about, and I don't have any problem, But I still told him, no, I would still like to hear your opinion. And my father, you cannot imagine the foresight that he had. In 92, most probably he had not seen a computer, face to face in his life. But he just said one sentence which stuck in my mind. He said, Beta, if I look at the future, I can see that the one who masters IT or computers will be ruling the world tomorrow. And this was made by a person not very well educated, and in 92, and most probably, like I said, he had not even seen a computer, right? So that's how my journey began. Yeah, short of it.
Wow, that's like one side your teachers have helped you shape you, other side your parents, your dad have advised you to become who you are today. But what was your father's mindset at that time, that he told you to, if you are interested, you can get into something related to IT?
Yeah. So, see, basically, due to unfortunate family circumstances, my father was intellectually very capable. He speaks more than 10 languages fluently, but because of his family background, he could not go into formal education. But he was very successful in his profession here as well. He worked for almost 50 years for a very renowned business company in the UAE. So he was a very capable person. And that is proven by the fact that all of his children are very highly educated. One of my brothers is a professor of internal medicine, and another one is a computer engineer, and so on. So he realized that because of circumstances, he could not be very highly educated or go through a proper formal education. And he made it a point that he instilled the importance of education in our minds, and he ensured that we should not go through the same problems that he had, and all of us should be educated. So that was one thing very important. And one of the things that the school that I spoke to you about provided was it had a massive library. Okay. And I was not a sportsman. There was a mandatory sports hour, 2 hours in the afternoon. You can say from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I used to wear my sports clothes and everything, my gear, but I was not interested in playing. And there's an interesting incident behind that, which I'll share it with you. But during the sports time, when everybody's playing, I used to read. And I can't remember how many books I've read, wide range of subjects, fiction, science, technology, society, religion, whatever. I used to read and read and read. That was my only hobby, my passion, my pastime at when I was a kid. So that had a very wonderful impact on me. My friends say there's hardly any subject which you cannot have a healthy discussion or a fruitful conversation with Samir. And that's because of the wide variety of books that I have read during my young age.
So then, how come you were more interested in health and giving advice to people about health? What had driven you there to get into this specific field as a passion?
When I was young, I had a health issue, right? And a lot of specialists, conventional treatment did not help me. I mean, I was suffering for almost 12 years. And without going into the details, it was a very uncomfortable kind of an illness. It not only affected me, it affected people around me. Basically, I had a condition in the eye which consistently and continuously I had to keep rubbing my eyes, and it used to disturb people around me as well, but it was so severe that I couldn't control. And I went to many doctors. I went to so many conventional super specialists of that time. Unfortunately, it did not give me a permanent solution. And then I resorted to alternative medicine. And because, during my engineering days, the project that I did for my final year engineering was related to AI and expert systems. And that was 96. We are talking about AI today. But the project that I did in AI back in my final year of college was AI and expert systems. So I was trying to convert my PC into becoming a doctor. Like you give it the symptoms and then it will give you the medicine. So I didn't choose conventional medicine. I chose alternative medicine for my project. And there's a reason behind it. Alternative medicine is much more challenging and complex than conventional medicine. And this may not be known to many people, So while doing my project, I had to study alternative medicine a lot. And I knew that I was having this condition for so long. So I resorted to alternative medicine. And the alternative medicine worked like magic. So I was extremely impressed by alternative medicine. And since I was already studying the subject as part of my engineering project, I continued the study, and I found that alternative medicine is something that everybody should take seriously, even may not necessarily be as an exclusive mode of treatment. Although, in India, a lot of people use alternative medicine as an exclusive modality. But you can also make it as complementary. And that's why alternative medicine is called complementary medicine as well. You can even take it along with your conventional medicine, especially for people who have chronic illnesses, and chronic illnesses are not easily cured by conventional medicine. So that's how I got into health related subjects.
When I see your entire journey, there are few points in life of yours where it has taken you in very different direction when it comes to residential schooling, your college thesis, then with regards to the thing which I have mentioned about CA. There are many different points, and also you are a reader. So the thing is, let's go a bit back and understand your schooling system. Also, you have mentioned that you have studied in India as well as UAE.
Yeah.
So, what were the difference in India and UAE in the education system which you have felt?
See, the schooling that I did in the UAE was back in 1980s, okay? We came to the country, me and my family, we came to the country in 1980, February, all right? If you see the schooling today, if you see the entire education system today in the UAE, it is one of the best in the world, right? But thanks to the the leadership and visionary qualities of the leaders of this country, they have an obsession with being the best. They have an obsession with perfection, which is highly remarkable. However, back in the 1980s, I wouldn't say the same thing, right? So my schooling, I changed two schools. The first one was both of them were Indian schools, CBSE schools. and they were just normal schools. They had the football was the only game that we could play. And when I shifted from my town school to a school in Dubai, it was a big jump for me. So I had difficulty coping up, bridging the gap between the level of education in my hometown schooling and the schooling in Dubai. So that was a big jump for me. However, I managed to, come up. Initially, I had difficulties because there was a very big gap. But eventually, when I completed my sixth grade, I was the topper in the class. Yeah, I had difficulties with maybe managing Hindi because we didn't have Hindi back home. And when I shifted to the residential school in South India, that was a major turning point. The teachers there looked at the students as if they are their own children. We developed such a close relationship with our teachers that they had a very lasting impact on my life, and I'm sure on every other student's life. Even now, some of them have passed away. Allah yarhamhum. They took care of us like their own children. They developed us. They trained us. They helped us discover our qualities and inherent gifts. Because every individual, as you know, is gifted. The point is that you need to find that gift in you. Because we as Muslims, we say God is just and fair, right? So maybe He has given you a talent different than mine, but He has given both of us talents. Yeah. If the society, your family, your system of education can identify that talent and shape it and hone it, then you will go to big heights. So that was the turning point, actually. And then, yeah. So back to you.
You know, for any talented person, like everyone have a gifted talent, but it's about their surroundings, how they shape their talent, the inner talent which is there. Maybe it might be the responsibility of a teacher or a parent, and when both people come together and help you, you shine in this world.
True.
And but few of the people or few of the teachers or parents, they are missing this thing due to different circumstances that's happening in their life. So what do you think, like what's the role of teacher and what's the role of parent?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. First of all, I would address the parents part. The parents now people do understand that, right? I mean, most of the parents might already be following what I'm going to tell you right now, but back in those days, it was not the case. Every single parent wanted their children, especially in the Indian society, right? Every single parent wants their kids or their children to do the best, to be successful in their career from a monetary perspective, right? So parents used to see, okay, my neighbor's child became an engineer. He's now well paid, so I want my son to be an engineer. My relative became a doctor, and now they are very well to do, and I want my son to be a doctor. I'm sure that's not the case right now, but for sure it was a few years back during our childhood. So my advice to parents is that's not the right approach. Each individual is gifted in a different way. So the parents should try to find out what is that gift? What is that one quality in my child that makes him tick, that makes him shine? And they should take some conscious effort in discovering this. And once they discover that, they should allow the child to progress, because there's an English saying which I quote a lot. They say, get a job that you love, and you don't have to work a day in your life, right? And if the person is passionate about his profession, is passionate about his career, he will definitely excel in it. But if he doesn't have the gift, if he's not interested in something, and society or institutions or parents for that matter, family for that matter, they try to force people, it's not going to work out. So that's the main advice I would give to parents who are having children who are choosing their careers.
Got it. So, this is one thing, but there is a huge gap between few parents and their children's, where parents are not able to express themselves. Same goes with children's, they are not able to express themselves, ki I want to become like this, or this is my particular interest.
Okay. For this, what I would suggest is, we have something called as shura, yeah, taking each other's advice. I think the onus is on both, because at the time you have to choose your career, you are what, 17, 18, right, 16. So you are mature enough to understand what you're getting into, and you're mature enough to have a proper conversation for both sides, the parents as well as the children, and sit down in a proper way and discuss, and then decide, mutually agree with each other, so that the parents are also happy, satisfied, and the children get to do what they want to do, what they are passionate about, and therefore they can excel. So that is my advice to both the students and the parents.
What about teachers?
Now that's a very difficult question, or not. I wouldn't call it a difficult question. I would call it a challenging question. And the reason is, the kind of schooling that we went in during our childhood was a bit different. Unfortunately, although we have very high quality schools, we have exceptional facilities, all sorts of things, but the difference between the way we used to go to school, especially as young children before, and now, is that education has become, according to me, an enterprise, a business. So I have some things that I say to most of my friends, because we have these conversations in friend circles and all that. And what I say is, when education became an industry, knowledge went to the dogs. And when health or medicine became an industry, health went to the dogs. So this is one aspect that I'm seeing today, where which was unheard of, unseen during our childhood, that education became a business. Okay, so I think because of this, certain values were lost, and the close relationship between students and teachers may be missing today, if not in all cases, most cases.
Of course. But there is a huge gap about information where a teacher is doing his or her job and students are coming to school just to network, to meet people. And it's a social circle which is happening around. And teachers are doing their own duty. But there is a huge gap that teachers are not understanding. This is the time for students where they grow, where they build their perspective and grow in life like a bamboo tree.
True.
Sure. So, but down the line, teachers are thinking that is just their job, and they are just teaching them about the subjects, about academics. What is missing is the life lessons which is going to help them in their life.
I'll give you an example. I think you already know, but for the sake of your audience, I would like to say that I started my career as a high-end IT trainer. Right, I started my career as a Microsoft certified trainer, when Microsoft certification was your guarantee into a very good job. Right, it's not like a normal day-to-day training. It was very advanced. It was the happening thing at that time. And I, as a teacher, as a trainer, I used to face the challenge, and I sympathize with the teachers of today as well. The reason being, in my class, okay, I used to have a wide range of audience. I used to have an engineer, and I used to have CXOs. That was one aspect of it. Secondly, I used to have a beginner and an expert in the same class. And your capabilities, your your how you handle, and in high end trainings, the most important factor for a trainer is that we used to get evaluations at the end of the training. So you are teaching very advanced technology. It's not easy. You are starting at 9 o'clock in the morning sharp, and you're continuing till 5 p.m. And this happens for quite a few days. It's not like school teaching where you take a subject for 45 minutes and then somebody else comes and teaches another subject. It's not like that. High-end professional IT training is where the trainer starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and he finishes at 5. He has a beginner in the same class. He has an expert in the same class. And the true talent is shown when you can get a 10 out of 10 from this person in the same class and a 10 out of 10 from this person in the same class.
How do you do that?
Yeah, I would say it's a gift. I mean, there's no 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 formula for that, but I think you can learn it through experience, and it all depends upon your communication skills. Like in my case, I was very lucky. In the school, I used to talk. I used to attend oratorical competitions and explaining complicated subjects simply. Don't miss the technology, don't miss the technical depth, but at the same time, communicate it in such a way that even the beginner and the expert can grasp it.
True.
And this is possible. Either you have a gift or you can learn this skill, and it's possible.
What I have learned from you is you were good at extracurricular activity and you were a voracious reader, and that have helped you in life throughout the time.
Yes, definitely.
So, can you tell me, do you still read?
I do. I do. Different subjects. Although right now it is more online reading than reading actual books. Even when like I said, when I was in the school, we had a huge library, and I can pretty confidently say that there would have been a very few students, if at all, who would have read the library, to the extent that I read the library, right? I didn't leave almost any book because I was interested in everything. I was interested in fiction. I was interested in storybooks. When I was in grade 8, one of the greatest books that I read was the unabridged version of a story called The Count of Monte Cristo. And this I read in grade 8. It was a 2,000-page encyclopedia. And according to the preface, or according to many people in the literary circles, that was the greatest story ever written by a human. And I read the unabridged version, where the level of English is pretty high, in my grade 8. Right? So, because I had nothing to do, all my free time was reading. All my free time was reading. So that really shaped me, develop a comprehensive understanding of so many aspects of the world. One other important thing that helped me shape my life and to see the breadth of things, right, is my travel. I in my beginning of my career, I used to travel a lot. Every weekend, I used to be either on a flight, either going somewhere or coming back from somewhere. So I have been to around 20 plus countries in the world, maybe closer to 25. I still love traveling. I'm traveling in a couple of weeks from now. So I love traveling. Traveling gives you a very important insight into the different cultures, the different civilizations, people, their food, their habits. It opens up your minds. See, there are two things that has helped me develop a very versatile personality. One is languages. I speak around 7 to 8 languages fluently, and I can say hi, hello in around 25 languages. Yeah. So languages and seeing the world has opened up my mind a lot. I can understanding diverse cultures, their food habits, their history, their climate, their geography is awesome.
How can someone learn any language?
I was born in that part of India. When you open your eyes, you're hit with 3 languages, right? You have your own mother tongue. My mother tongue is a language called Navaiti. It's a dialect of, you can say, Marathi or Konkani. And you are hit with Urdu or Hindi,
Yes.
because the official language there is Urdu or Hindi. And then you learn English at school. And then the local language of the state is Kannada. So you are, right from birth, you are exposed to 4 languages. And any person there would understand, if not be an expert in these 4 languages, they would know a little bit of these languages. So, plus I was inspired by my father, like in many other things. He used to speak more than 10 languages fluently. And I used to see that doors used to open when you speak somebody's language. I have so many interesting incidents that I could share with you, where a language has helped me get out of a difficult situation. One small example for the interest of your audience. I was in Paris for a training, and on the way back, I had because I wanted to leave the same day. So on the way back, I had booked a flight from Paris to London and London to Dubai. And it was immediately after 9/11, where, airports were very security conscious and blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, what I did was I landed in Paris airport maybe 6 hours before my flight. And, I was very restless because it was a long wait. And everything was French. So I couldn't see the TV. I couldn't understand the announcements and so on. And I was a little bit restless. I was moving around. Some airport official came and asked me, "Where are you going?" I told him, "I'm going to Dubai." He said, "There's no flight to Dubai now." I said, "I'm going via London." So he said, "Okay, where's your UK visa?" And I told him, "I don't need a UK visa. It's just a 3-hour transit journey." He said, "No, you need a UK visa. Rules have changed post 9/11." I told him very respectfully, because he then introduced me. Initially, I was irritated. Why is this man asking me these questions? But then he introduced me he introduced himself as an official of the airport. So I had to, be courteously and respectfully answer him. And I told him, "Sir, I have checked with my airlines. I have checked with the British Embassy, and I have checked with my travel agent. All the 3 people have confirmed that I don't need a visa." He said, "No." And then I heard him speak a language that I know.
What was that?
Tamil. Because I studied in Tamil Nadu. So I speak Tamil as good as my mother tongue.
Wow.
I heard him speaking Tamil with somebody. I didn't know that he was from Pondicherry. Eventually, it turned out that he was from Pondicherry. And when I heard him speak in Tamil, I explained exactly what I had explained in English. The only difference was no additional information provided. The only difference was that I explained the same thing in Tamil. He was a changed man. There was a 180-degree change. And he was so respectful. He told me, "I unnecessarily put you to some trouble. I need to compensate. Come, let's have coffee." Wow. I couldn't have coffee at that time because it was Ramadan. So I said, "I need to help you in some way." And I noticed that I have 6 hours to wait for my next flight. And every 15 minutes, there is another flight from Paris to London. So I told him, "Can you put me on the earliest flight?" He said, "That's all?" He was a senior official, right? And he took me to the airline people. He said, he introduced me as, he's from my hometown in India. And please help him. And he was a senior airport official. So the airline people were, 15 minutes and I was in my flight.
Wow.
And that really helped me. So that's the power of languages.
Got it. Right now I want to learn many languages and it's quite difficult to understand how to learn those languages. We coming from the same region, right? So we understand few languages, but still it's sometimes very difficult to adapt those people and unless and until we are surrounded by those kind of people.
True. The modern world has made it very easy for us. There are so many language learning apps. In fact, I'm using a very popular app to learn Spanish.
Okay.
And it's good because they make it these new apps. They have a very nice mechanism of capturing your attention. Mm-hmm. They have a very nice. They literally make you addicted. Mm-hmm. They have a scoring pattern, and they keep reminding you, "Hey, today you have not taken your Spanish lesson." Mm-hmm. And they compete you with your friends. Okay, that's one thing. But like you said, there are 2 additional things that you need to do. Number 1, if you have somebody to speak to, don't feel shy. Don't shy away from making mistakes. Okay, just keep speaking. But tell the person to, as you go along, correct you. Some people, out of courtesy, out of respect for you, they will just absorb your mistakes. They feel that if they keep correcting you, you will be offended. So you have to tell them, "I will not be offended. I want to learn this language. So please feel free to correct me whenever I make a mistake." That's one thing. I'll give you an example. When I went to Tamil Nadu, you could not survive there without knowing the local language.
Of course.
That may not be that severe a case today, But 30 years back, it was, it used to be very difficult to survive on the streets without knowing the local language. So I struggled for 2 years, and then I realized that um, without learning the local language, I'm going to have a very tough time. And what I did was, I chose friends who did not speak English.
Okay.
I consciously chose friends who did not speak English, who knew only Tamil, and I intentionally befriended them. And I spoke only Tamil with them. And within a matter of, I think, maybe a year, I was able to speak Tamil as if it's my native language, almost. Because some of my Tamil friends will disagree with me, so I need to give the disclaimer for them that almost. Okay? Yeah.
One thing, like in our generation, that we are more comfortable with people who aligns with our interests, aligns with our language and the background we come from. But what you said is very interesting, that initially you might feel uncomfortable of being around people, not uncomfortable as in you might not know their language, and that might be one of the difficulty or where you challenge, I can say, that you are not able to communicate what you have to. But what you have mentioned is truly correct, and we have to make sure that we should, to learn more things, we have to get uncomfortable.
True. I'll give you a very small example. A very, very great man whom I have a huge amount of respect. Once I heard him, he was a great public speaker, international motivational speaker. He said, does anybody like worms? No. Obviously, nobody likes worms. But what if you need to fish?
You need a worm.
You need to get the worms. Not because you like the worms, but because the fish likes the worms, right? So you want to achieve something, the road might be difficult, but if you make up your mind and do it, you can. You should not be worried about social stigmas or what somebody will think about me if I make a mistake. Those things are, they will hold you back, which you should avoid at all costs.
Got it. Since we were speaking about something of our generation, maybe you might have worked with people coming from Gen Z background. So what's the difference do you see people of this generation and your generation?
Okay, humanity is evolving, right? And humanity, you would have observed yourself that as we move along, the newer generation, although some theories say that, it may not be 100% true, there could be, crusts and waves. But in general, what we have seen is that as we move along in the future, every subsequent generation becomes more intelligent than the other generation. But that has also led to an environment of extreme competitiveness. The only way you can succeed is when you excel. And the only way you can excel is putting in the right amount of efforts. I do a lot of motivational talking also. So I tell people, there are two impediments or two hurdles to anybody's success in life today. One is laziness, and the second one, which may even be worse, is something called procrastination. Procrastination and laziness will destroy your life. It will destroy your career. The world has become so competitive, and I think your audience will be aware if for a career, for a job, if there's one vacancy, it's very normal to have hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants for one job. So how are you going to land that particular job? The only way you can do that is to excel, is to be better than the rest. Otherwise, you'll be left out. And one way to be better than the best is choose a career that you are passionate about and put as much hard work and effort into it as you can. And see, I come from a corporate environment, right? I was very close to one of my senior vice presidents who has retired. And he used to tell me, when you're assigned a task and you do it 90%, in the competitive corporate world, it's just zeros and ones. 90% is zero. Only when you do it 100% does it become a one. And that's the kind of thinking that today's generation should understand if they want to actually succeed. It's either you have done it or you have not done it. You cannot say, I have done it 75%. Doesn't work.
Can you differentiate between people who are successful in life and someone who is doing average? One thing what I felt is distraction. That's stopping people from growing. As you mentioned about procrastination and laziness, another thing which comes in between that is distraction. You can have a straight way to go, but people would like to go like this, and it will take a long way for them to reach their goal.
So, what I would suggest to young people is look forward to successful people. See how they have succeeded in life. Those could be people around you, some of your friends, your mentors, your elders, your parents, your teachers, and try to observe what are the positive qualities that you see in them. Okay, and try to imbibe those positive qualities in you. In fact, you have so many books, self-development books available today. In the social media world, in the internet world, you have so much of resources that will tell you how you can develop yourself. But the key point here is that eventually it is your hard work and focus. The first thing that you do is you should make a goal. You should say, I will do it. Even as Muslims, we are taught any activity that you do, what is the mandatory first point? The mandatory first point is the intention, right? The intention and the setting of the goal. Okay? So there should be an intention that I want to achieve this, and you have to set your goals, and you have to put in efforts no matter what to achieve those goals. If it means developing yourself, if it means learning from somebody else, if it means working 16 hours a day, do it. The world is extremely competitive. It's going to become more competitive by the day. That's the advice I would like to give to your listeners for success.
Of course. Thank you so much for your great advices. Any final message you want to give about health, mental health, and physical health for the people who are watching this podcast?
We are entering into an era where it's all about screen time. Most of us miss nature. I see so many people, we are always indoors. I see so many people who go into anxiety and depression just because they have a vitamin D deficiency. And this vitamin D deficiency primarily is because you don't get exposed to the sun enough. It's another sign that, go out, spend some time out. If you're young, get associated with some outdoor sports. Don't spend all your time on the screen, right? Be physically fit, eat healthy, and by eat healthy, you have to be very careful here because, like I said, when medicine became an industry, health went to the dog. Similarly, when food became an industry, health went to the dogs as well. Now everything is, whatever we eat is processed. Even the so-called natural food that we eat is full of pesticides, full of, chemical additives, preservatives, God knows what. Try to have an as natural diet as possible, and try to spend me time away from the screen. Develop maybe a reading habit. Instead of spending so much time on the screen, maybe you should read books. There's nothing like reading books even in today's world. In spite of the technological advances, in spite of having everything online, in spite of the social media, nothing can beat reading good books.
Of course, books is everything.
Yeah.
But right now the information, whatever we read in books, are on internet. Is it true?
That's a very interesting question. You need to understand the difference between information and knowledge, right? What you find in social media today, what you find online today, most of it, if not all, is information, right? And it's not knowledge. Knowledge is only found with the experts, right? Subject matter experts, true subject matter experts. Online, for example, if there's an online website, if 10 people say that the sun, I'm giving you a very hypothetical example, maybe an idiotic example, but just to prove my point, right? we are living in an age where it's always the majority opinion.
Got it.
So if 51 people say the sun rises from the west, online world will say that's true. But it's not true, right? So you have to do your due diligence. You have to depend upon the actual experts, the subject matter experts. And you can find these subject matter experts either through your formal education, your professors, or through reading books again. Not and also take you see in back then we used to say you need to take things with a pinch of salt. I will say no. Today you need to take information with a spoonful of salt.
True.
A pinch is not enough.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. That was lovely speaking to you, Samir Bhau. So thank you so much for being.
Thank you for having me. It was great. It was a pleasure talking to you and to your audiences.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.